Now, dear congregation, what is the lesson for us here? First, let me tell you what clearly the lesson is not. God is nothing like this judge in the parable. He is not unwilling to listen. He is not unrighteous. He is not annoyed by the prayers of his people. He's nothing like that. And you might say, oh, Pastor, I know this. I know this. But do you? Do you really know this? Because some, in my experience, while they would never confess that to somebody else or even to themselves, tend to think that God is just like this judge. That he's unwilling to bless us, that he's unwilling to be bothered by us, even that he's a trickster who plays games with our salvation, trying to make us think that we're safe, but then we're not, telling us that he hears our prayers, but he does not, that he's really a trickster. Of course, they would never say that. They're far too afraid of him. But they think that if at all he's very reluctant in hearing our prayers, that we're just a nuisance to him because there's other more important things to do than hear us. But the lesson in our text shows us exactly the opposite. Verse 7, and will not God give justice to his elect, who cry out to him day and night? Will he delay long over them? I tell you, he will give justice to them speedily. My dear friends, this is a very, very important and weighty statement. It is God saying, even this judge, even this wicked, evil tyrant judge, will hear this poor widow for whom he has absolutely no regard, and he will give her justice. And here it comes. How much more will I hear my beloved children's prayers who cry to me day and night, beloved? This is the lesson. This is God's comfort for us in this passage. This is in what the Latins called an argumentum minorem ad maiorem. It goes from the lower to the higher. This one goes from the lowest to the highest. Here's an unjust judge, an evil man. And he's being bothered by this widow to, for once in his life, do his job justly and rightly. And even he hears God says, I'm nothing like this judge. I'm the God of heaven and earth. I'm holy. I'm good. I'm omnipotent. I'm omniscient. I'm just. I'm merciful. Don't you think, how much more will I hear my own children as they bow their knees before me? I am nothing like this scoundrel judge, he says. I'm your Father in heaven and I love you. I hear all of your prayers and I will grant you whatever is good for you at the exactly right time. Now, what is exactly the application of this parable? And I love passages like this as a preacher especially because I don't have to do much interpretation. The interpretation is clearly and doubtlessly in the text itself. If you look at verse 1, it tells us exactly what the application is. And he told them a parable to the effect that they ought always to pray and not to lose heart.